kitchen, y'all. This is David Locke, and this is my blog, Boots and Bow Ties, about everything that's kitchen and everything that's gardening. And today I'm going to show you how to make a sheet cake that feeds so many people. It's called Texas sheet cake. This recipe came from my great aunt, Fran, who is a Southern Baptist preacher's wife. So she's had to feed her share of people over the years. I have my students actually coming to my house tomorrow, and I need a big cake. And if you're like me, you have a lot of people coming over during the holidays and you need to feed a lot of people. This is the simplest sheet cake. It's a chocolate cake, and the cake also freezes very well. Make the sponge first, then put it in the freezer, and then you can make the icing and ice it after it's thawed. Let's go through first what you're going to need for the cake or for the sponge. The ingredients couldn't be more simple. 2 cups of sugar, 2 cups of flour, 2 sticks of butter, a cup of water, half a cup of sour cream, 4 tablespoons of cocoa, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of soda, and 2 eggs. First thing we're going to do is we're going to boil the 2 sticks of butter, the cup of water, and the 4 tablespoons of chocolate in our saucepan. And then we're going to come to the KitchenAid mixer and we're going to assemble the batter. Then that batter will go in our cooking sheet. You want to make sure it's at least a 1/2 inch deep, 3/4 of an inch if you have it. Then we're going to put that in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes, and then I'm going to show you how to make the icing. I've boiled my chocolate, my butter, and my water together. I've allowed that to start cooling. Now we're going to put the batter together. So I've got my KitchenAid fitted with the paddle attachment. You could probably even mix this by hand if you wanted to. And I'm simply going to put in my dry ingredients first, my flour and my sugar. Then I'm going to put in my baking soda, my rising agent, a little bit of salt. And I'm just going to give that a little bit of a mix, just to make sure that we get all of the dry ingredients well incorporated together. Now I'm going to start putting in the wet ingredients. So I'm going to put in a little bit of the egg, starting on its lowest speed. That's my egg. Then next I'm going to put in my 1/2 cup of sour cream. And next, slowly pour my chocolate mixture in. Using caution, this is still a little hot. Then I'll give that a little scrape down, and then I'll pour it in my tray that I have sprayed with vegetable spray. Then we're going to put it in the oven, and next I'm going to show you how to make the frosting. This is the easiest icing, so let me tell you how you make it. Basically, we're going to boil most of our ingredients in a saucepan, bring it off the heat, stir in some vanilla, and then put in a box or about 3.5 cups of icing sugar or powdered sugar. Then we're just going to simply take that and pour it over our cake. And that is the most simple way to ice a cake. So if icing a cake intimidates you, this is the icing for you. So the things we're going to need, again, a box of powdered sugar or about 3.5 cups. You're going to need 6 tablespoons of milk. That's about 100 milliliters of milk. 4 tablespoons of cocoa, a teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 stick of butter. So I'm going to take this to the stove top. I'm going to boil it. I'll show you how we put it together, and then I'll show you how we pour it over the cake. So I've boiled my butter and my chocolate and my milk together, and it's created a very nice, smooth chocolate cream. You want to make sure when you're cooking this that you're stirring constantly, because of course it is a dairy product and it could burn. Then what I'm going to do is, in a large bowl, I'm going to begin putting the icing together, and you could use your mixer if you wanted to for this, but I'm going to pour in a little bit. Then I'm going to pour in a little bit of my mixture. One thing I forgot to do is I do want to stir in a little bit of vanilla into that chocolate mixture. I'm just going to begin incorporating my sauce here a little bit. Pour in some more sugar. And then slowly, I'll put all this in. I'll mix the icing together very well, and then we'll pour it over our cake. pulled my sheet cake out of the oven, and it started to cook away from the edges just a little bit, and it's tested with a toothpick in it. I've got my icing, and then what I'm going to simply do is just take that icing and pour it out onto my sheet cake. And then the warmth of the sheet cake will help me to spread around the icing. Then I'm just going to take an offset spatula, or you could take a butter knife if you don't have an offset spatula, and begin to spread my icing over top of the hot cake. I hope you and your family enjoy Texas sheet cake. I certainly know our friends will. And remember to subscribe to my blog at www.bootsandbowties.com. Merry Christmas. One quick extra before I go. If you're a nut lover, take about a cup of pecans and crush them up in your food processor. Pulse them several times. Then take those nuts and put them all over your Texas sheet cake after it's set up a little bit. And it will create a really beautiful topping for this fantastic cake.